Hi guys, I wanted to chat to you today about two really popular treatments in clinic, lip blush and lip neutralisation. So they're quite similar methods and they accomplish slightly different things. So this would be a traditional lip blush where we are adding in a wash of colour on the lip just to give it some life. A lot of people lose their border, they may never have had one, or they lose it as they age, so they want a bit more definition and a slight change of colour, or just to not to have to wear lipstick. We prefer the look of lips that have a wash of colour. So this would be another example of a lip wash. We apply very, very thin layers of colour. I don't personally like the way that lipstick tattoos look when people have really pumped the colour in. I think it looks really chalky, it's a funny texture and it doesn't tend to heal well over time. So we just prefer a very natural look to the lip. And you can see here that this client has lost the outline of her lips. She may not have ever had a very defined line, but she wanted one. So we just very gently popped the border back in. This is directly after, so it's just going to heal really beautifully. It's going to look very natural, like your own lip, and that's for the most part is what we're aiming for. We want it to look like your lip, but just sometimes when you wake up in the morning they've just got a bit more life in them, a bit more colour. That's what we're aiming for, so like a stain rather than a lipstick. The other option is the lip neutralisation process, or sometimes called dark lip correction. So it can happen to anyone, but tends to be more prominent in darker skin tones. So Fitzpatrick, probably 4, 5, 6. And you can get a lot of unwanted hues. You can see there's quite a lot of purple in this lip that was unwanted, and the client wanted something that sort of matched the sort of centre of her lip. If we could make the lip more uniform and get everything looking like that. So what we need to do is to neutralise those unwanted tones, and we do this very simply. And we use something called a colour wheel. Let me see if I can have a look at it here. So what this does, it allows you to correct unwanted tones. You can see here, these are the sort of purpley blues on this corner. If we go directly opposite, then we start to get into the yellows and the oranges. So those are the colours we want to put directly into the lip. So for a lip like this, we're going to use these colours, something like this, and it looks a little petrifying, but as you can see, that's not how they turn up in the lip. And by implanting these colours, which we've also done in this lip, it won't necessarily be these for all the time. The yellows we tend to use on very dark lips, or those that have a lot of purple, and then we move on to the oranges. I don't know if you can see those close up, and they can be orangey, a little bit corally, a little bit pinky. The key is to put them in extremely thin layers so it doesn't look too chalky when they heal, and all we're trying to do is get the lip to look more uniform. Often with dark lips or lips that need neutralisation, there'll be a dark border, and it will be the centre that will be the most neutral. So we're trying to get that neutral to blend out so that there aren't obvious borders or obvious parts or stains to the lip. And there can be varying degrees of the neutralisation required. Mostly this process is a 2-stage process. This client will only need one neutralisation for sure. The pigmentation is very, very slight. And this can go right up to clients that have extremely dark and pigmented lips. You can see here there's a lot of blue, a lot of purple here that needed correcting. We did, I think, 3 sessions here. The first session will always be the neutralisation, or the first part of the neutralisation. That's when we're trying to get rid of those very, very dark colours. Some people can often have pigmented spots throughout the lips as well. It may just be they've always had them. It may be from sun damage or from smoking or from trauma. Sometimes when people get a lot of cold sores, they end up with some hyperpigmentation in the lip. that would be something like this lip, where you can see there's quite a few areas of heavy pigmentation. This was directly after the first session, just to give you an idea of how it can look. You will have a little bit of swelling. The colour isn't completely neutralised yet. The process takes about 10 weeks. So we have the first session, then we'll see how the lips come back. If there's any further neutralisation needed, we'll do that, or we can then start looking at target colours. So you may think, I want to have a sort of nude-ish lip, or I want to have more pinks or more corals. We tend to stay away from anything too cool. A lot of pinks can have quite a lot of blue in, and obviously we're trying to take the blue out, not put the blue in. So we'll try and steer towards peachy coral type lips, which really looks so pretty and fresh when they're on as well. So most people will need 2 sessions. If your lips are very stubborn, or the texture is quite tough, or you have a lot of deep colours in, then we might need a 3rd session. We don't really know until we start, but I would say the vast majority of people are 2 sessions, maybe a 3rd. And then you might want to have a refresh every 18 months, 2 years, just to keep the colour looking good. And do remember, it's not just for women. We do perform dark lip correction or neutralisation on a lot of male clients as well. The critical thing here is that for most men, they do not want it to look like they've got makeup on. They don't want to look like they've got lipstick on. They just want to get rid of those dark areas. Sometimes we will darken the whole lip if the lip is quite naturally dark and there's just a tiny central bit of pink. Sometimes we'll just make that pink bit dark. But it is appropriate for men and women to both have this treatment. So whether you're looking for lip neutralisation or a lip blush, we can more than likely accommodate you. The things you need to do for the most successful outcomes: if you've ever suffered from cold sores, then please take antivirals before you start treatment. This will trigger an outbreak. Overwhelmingly it will trigger it. So you want to get that completed before, because if you have an outbreak, the pigment's less likely to adhere, and it's, you just don't want to have an outbreak. Exfoliate the lips a few days before you come in. So we want as much of that sort of winter dry lip off as possible, because the needle just simply cannot get through. We don't want to be pigmenting the dry skin, which is going to come off in a few days. Keep the lips really well hydrated. Keep yourself really well hydrated. Don't take any NSAID painkillers the day of, no having a heavy night the night before, please. So what does it feel like? It feels pretty comfortable, actually. Most people are surprised. There's a central part in a cupid's bow that is very scratchy on the first pass. Once we've got the secondary anaesthetic in, you should be absolutely fine. It's just a central bit here and the outline. After that, most people are really comfortable, and if they're not, then just shout, we put more anaesthetic in. The recovery, for a lip blush, it's really a few days of a dry lip. Just keep them well moisturised and you will be fine. The lip neutralisation, it takes a little longer. You might go through periods where it's looking a little bit patchy, or the colour is neutralising. You can wear lipstick after 7 days, the first 7 days, if you need to cover. Most people are fine. We work quite lightly. Like I say, I don't really want to punch colour in. So see how you get on. Please ask any questions and leave them in the comments, and like and subscribe if you want to see more content.